Breaking news, one person is in custody after a standoff in a Boise neighborhood earlier this afternoon. Around 2 p.m., Boise police sent out a reverse 911 alert stating they were negotiating with a potentially armed suspect in a house near the intersection of Gary Lane and Lamplighter Street. Then around 3:45, police sent out another alert saying the situation was resolved. If you live in the area, police say it is now safe to return home. We'll bring you the latest information as it becomes available.
You're watching Idaho's News Channel 7. This is the News at 5.
Well, good evening and thanks for joining us for the News at 5. I'm Katya Stepovic. For a second straight day, Ukraine is accusing Russia of breaking a ceasefire, preventing civilians from escaping cities under attack. Humanitarian groups say at least 1.5 million people have fled the besieged country. With another round of peace talks scheduled, Ukraine's allies are considering plans to give it more fighter jets. NBC's Chris Pallone has the latest from Washington.
The Ukrainian government says Russian forces broke a ceasefire agreement Sunday, shelling civilians trying to evacuate the country.
They again, for the second time, refused to allow women and children to get out and for the humanitarian goods to get into Mariupol.
Outside Kyiv, video corroborated by the New York Times appears to show people being hit as they tried to escape. Witnesses said this blast killed a woman and 2 children. In his latest video address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky once again made an emotional plea for allies to establish a no-fly zone over his country. U.S. and NATO officials insist they won't, saying it would amount to a declaration of war on Russia.
We're working to support him in every other way possible that we can support him.
Instead, the U.S. is in talks with Poland to convince that country to provide Russian-made fighter jets to Ukraine.
If it chooses to send the MiGs and the Su planes that it has to Ukraine, how we can help by backfilling what they're giving to the Ukrainians. So that's in very active discussion as we speak.
American Express has joined Visa and MasterCard in stopping most operations in Russia. And in Congress, momentum is growing for the U.S. to stop buying Russian oil.
This notion that somehow banning Russian oil would raise prices on American consumers is an admission that this guy, that this killer, that this butcher, Vladimir Putin, has leverage over us. Why would we want that leverage to continue?
A third round of peace talks is scheduled for Monday. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
All right, it looks pretty nice out there, but I will say earlier I was in Meridian shooting my story and I had to put the camera away. I was like, I can't see anything. My hair's in my face. What's going on?
Yeah, step out the door, you get blown away. And even my husband, he kept giving me play-by-plays upstairs as I was getting ready for work. It's snowing. It's not snowing anymore. It is snowing again, but it was also some graupel that was falling from the skies today. Max wind gusts recorded 51-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Ontario today, 41-mile-per-hour gust in Boise. We have since seen the wind calm a touch, but still fairly active with gusts up to 25 to 30 miles per hour at this hour. There is a lot of energy that is around the region as this trough drops through the area, and we're still seeing some scattered showers and even some snow squalls in south central Idaho around the Magic Valley. So there's still a chance that you could get reduced visibility with maybe some of that graupel and even that snow that's falling at a very quick rate, and then it clears up, you get the sunshine back. Tomorrow, it's a lot quieter and it's a lot calmer, and it should be dry as well, with temperatures topping out near 50 degrees. Enjoy the calm and quiet while it lasts because things really cool off and we're tracking some snow. We'll get to those details in just a bit.
The transgender community is concerned about their rights in the state of Idaho. House Bill 675 looks to ban transgender affirmation surgery for anyone under the age of 18. 15-year-old Lynn came out to her father 2 years ago. Their biggest problem with this bill is how it treats surgery procedures and hormone treatment the exact same. The bill says a person knowingly provides these services could face a felony. And while Lynn and her family agree she isn't ready for surgery now, she says puberty blockers have been very beneficial to her quality of life. Lynn missed testimony on Friday because of time constraints, but she shared her testimony with our Andrew Bartline.
I hated my name and I hated being called he. When it got bad enough, I was forced to confront the feelings and question if I was trans. After months, I concluded I am. I didn't want to be. I'd prefer not to be, but I am. We spoke to doctors and went to experts, and I got the counseling, and I got counseling before we could get the care I needed. In my opinion, I think the counseling was necessary. I think you should be sure before you start blockers, but you can be sure of this well before you turn 18. I got lucky to have access to trans care and have a supportive family and friends. I do not believe I would be alive without it.
Bill sponsor Representative Bruce Skog says he has sympathy for people like Lynn, but he says this is a decision children are too young to make and could regret later. On Friday, the Idaho House passed a ban on vaccine passports. House Bill 708 prohibits the state of Idaho from requiring proof of vaccination to receive or access state services and facilities. It also says individuals will not be required to provide proof of vaccination or negative test results in order to apply or receive services provided by the state, enter a government venue, or be hired or maintain employment with the state of Idaho. A Nampa man who forced his way into the U.S. Capitol building and assaulted officers is sentenced to federal prison. 68-year-old Duke Wilson took part in the failed insurrection on January 6, 2021. You can see him there. On Friday, Wilson was sentenced to 4 years and 3 months in federal prison. This sentence is one of the longest given to any of the people that participated in the January 6 riot. Wilson is one of 6 Idahoans charged with participating in the attack and the first to be sentenced. An assistant U.S. attorney says videos of the chaos show Wilson was, quote, among the most aggressive people in that crowd. Body camera video and clips uploaded to YouTube show him push an officer to the ground and use a PVC pipe to jab at other officers. An officer that Wilson attacked says even after he was pepper sprayed, the Nampa man continued to attack. Before the sentence was handed down, Wilson did make a statement. He said he's sorry for what he's done and that he added, quote, made a very bad decision. All right, listen up and alert for anyone traveling on Highway 55 near Smith's Ferry. Starting tomorrow, crews will be out there setting up equipment and preparing for some upcoming construction. ITD says drivers can expect short delays with flaggers while equipment is being set up. The skyrocketing price of crude oil is causing gas prices, we've all seen it, to spike across the country and here in Idaho. According to AAA, the national average price for gas jumped 11 cents overnight. Here in the Gem State, it went up 9 cents, still a lot. Idaho drivers are paying an average of $3.71 a gallon for regular gas. That's up 17 cents since Monday. Gas hasn't been this expensive in Idaho since November of last year. Starting tomorrow, the city of Boise is lifting its mask requirement for city buildings and events. Boise Mayor Lauren McLean made the announcement on Friday. She is also easing other COVID policies as Idaho cases are declining and show Ada County as a medium risk area. Also happening tomorrow, the Boise School Board is meeting to discuss potentially lifting the district's mask mandate. A day after the state reported no new COVID-related deaths, 16 deaths were reported on Friday. 1,565 new cases were also reported. Now that is up slightly from Thursday. The number of backlog positive cases continues to shrink. There are now 8,200 left for the local health districts to review. All right, coming up, the crisis in Ukraine is all too familiar for one Nampa family. After the break, hear from a World War II survivor who says she's seen this all before. For a Nampa family, the crisis in Ukraine is all too familiar. Mila Kicha was just a baby when Kyiv, her home city in Ukraine, was attacked during World War II. She says a lot of what's happening right now is reminiscent of that time. Our Tristan Lewis has their story.
Watching what's happening in Ukraine unfold on TV, thousands of miles away, 84-year-old Mila Kicha's heart breaks.
We have family and friends in Kyiv, in Mykolaiv, and Ternopil.
For Kicha, her daughter Alba Aguilar, and her grandson Tom Cannon, the Russian invasion on Ukraine hits close to home.
Those who are in Kyiv, relatives and friends that I'm talking to, they are constantly most of the time in basement.
It's especially hard for Kicha because she's been through something similar before.
She say, I am old person, so it's my second time when Kyiv was occupied by enemy. The first time when she was 3 years old, it was Hitler, German, Nazis.
Kicha says during World War II, her father died in battle trying to keep Kyiv from being overtaken by Hitler.
Now she has her cousin who live in Mykolaiv, and Mykolaiv right now completely surrounded by enemies. So she feels horrible.
They say the Russian government are spreading disinformation about what they're doing in Ukraine. Aguilar says it angers her because Ukraine civilians' lives are being destroyed.
Like Kharkiv, it's almost gone. It's second largest city in Ukraine. It's like, I don't understand.
For Cannon, he moved to the U.S. when he was 1. He's been able to visit Ukraine a number of times since then, and even spent a few months in 2016 teaching Ukrainian children English.
I feel very connected to Ukraine.
He says his heart hurts, especially for his grandmother.
I know it's the most stressful for her, reliving what is similar to the World War II is just an awful thing to think of.
Kicha and Aguilar say Ukrainian people are fighters. They say Ukraine has been able to hold their own on the ground, but need help in the sky.
But on the ground, we will fight him, we will resist, and we say glory to Ukraine and to our heroes' glory.
Meteorologist Bree Eggers is next with your first alert forecast. Don't go anywhere.